Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm in a vehicle. I'm in my truck. I was about to say car. I am hung up on this car truck deal where we are in a truck, but I refer to it as a car sometimes. And I think it's weird and I think it's silly. And every time I go to say, I say car, but I mean truck. I don't know. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. Today, I am doing a Q&A for you guys. So my last video, I was fletching some arrows and I was like, hey guys, leave me questions. I screenshotted them earlier. So if you waited till the last minute to leave your question, I apologize. But I don't have any service out here because we're driving through some beautiful country where there's not a lot of cell service. So let's jump right in. Da 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 da. First question. What do you usually pull and what do you think of Matthews archery? I have a Matthews avail set up with 50 to 60 pound limbs. At the beginning of the summer, I was pulling 52 or 53 pounds, and currently I've cranked that thing up to around 58. So I increased my poundage to 58. That's what I will shoot it at for this season. Yay! Antelopes! Oh, big buck, little ladies. Oh. And what do you think of Matthews archery? I love Matthews archery. I shoot in a veil and the bow is fantastic. I've been having a lot of trouble setting it up because of A, my rest, B, my D-loop, C, my peep sight. All of the things that go into setting a bow up and figuring it out, it's just been causing me problems this year. I don't know why, but the bow itself is awesome and I'm really excited. It's finally dialed in now. From the last time that you saw me until now, it's good. And I'll show you guys more of that. But I love Matthews archery and I love what they are about. And I don't necessarily need to go more into that right now, but they're good. Love them. What release do you use? I use a old Cabela's release that was Nick's. And I keep looking off camera because Nick is driving right now. This vehicle isn't driving itself, although that would be pretty cool. It's an old release by Cabela's, and I have been wanting to get a new one, but I mean, it's working fine. I've been flirting with the idea of switching to a thumb release, but it makes me a little bit nervous. So if there are any hunters out there that use a thumb release, comment down below and let me know what your experience has been. I hear good things, but for hunting purposes, I don't really know. I don't know. I use a Cabela's release, and it's just fine. Whatever. This is not a question, but I see a lot of comments about my fletchings coming off and people saying that it could be because the rest isn't dropping away fast enough, and that is exactly what was going on. But I also think it did have something to do with my arrows being too stiff from my poundage being light. So I cranked my poundage up, I messed with the rest and got it to work properly. And I think a combination of those two things, messing with my D-loop a little bit, I moved my peep sight down a little bit, I think a combination of all of those things is what has fixed it. But thank you guys for commenting, because I look at all of those and I read all of those, and when there's a common theme, like people saying, oh, your drop away rest could be it, you were correct. So thank you guys. How are some good ways for a person to start out hunting on WMAs and PHAs? So WMA, Wildlife Management Area, PHA, Public Hunting Area. I'm assuming, I could be wrong on that. I'm from Oklahoma and have pretty much taught myself everything and want to give public land a try since I don't have much land myself to hunt. I love that. I love hunting on public land just because, I don't know, it's just this feeling of fair chase and this feeling of wide open, well, in the West, wide open spaces, but regardless, some tips. Number one, the internet is going to be the first place that you will want to go. You are going to start your scouting on the internet to find areas near you that are open to the public. So you'll find public land that should be ideally accessible, although there are some spots which aren't, and we will not go into that. Or 2, it could be private land that is open for the public to hunt or fish on through easements and different programs like that. Pennsylvania has an Access Yes program that is phenomenal, takes landowners and basically rewards them for allowing the public to hunt on their land and for taking care of the wildlife area, habitat, that kind of stuff. So, scout those places out on the internet first. And then my second tip would be, once you locate those areas, get your boots on the ground, go in the summertime and scout. Enjoy it. If it's a place where it's large enough that you could go backpacking, go backpack for a night or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 and just explore it and have fun. And, you know, figure out where other people's stands are, especially since this gal's from Oklahoma, because, you know, you want to be cognizant of where other hunters are as well. You want to be respectful and go for it. How did you get into bow hunting and how did you meet Nick? I got into bow hunting because of Nick, and I met Nick at a high school basketball game. I was 16, Nick was 18. There's an antelope and he's laying. Can you tell that we like wildlife? I met Nick at a high school basketball game. We did not go to the same high school, but he was friends with guys from my high school, and that is how we met. Is hunting your full-time job? It almost is. My job surrounds hunting, yes, but do I get paid to hunt professionally? No-ish. It's confusing. So I work full-time for a hunting apparel company called First Light. I work in digital marketing and I absolutely love it. The company is fantastic. They treat their employees really well. They care about conservation. They're a bunch of awesome people. I love them. I love that place. I love everything about it. I also do my own thing, which is what you guys are seeing right now, and that is also my job. Do you have any advice on communicating with your significant other while hunting? I just started hunting last year, but I've been tagging along with my boyfriend for about 4 years. Most of the time we're good, but I think we get a little frustrated with each other when maybe I'm not sure what I should be doing or if he thinks I'm doing something wrong. I'm curious if you have any experience with this and or have any advice on how to communicate more effectively. That is such a good question, and I think that this is something that so many people have experienced before. It's definitely something that Nick and I have experienced before. For the most part, I think we hunt pretty well together, but there are definitely times where we spot game and I have an idea of how I want to approach them and he has a different idea, and it causes conflict, especially in a situation like hunting where it becomes very stressful and emotional, and there are a lot of things going on, and it's a very, you know, it's an intense process. So these, you know, arguments are bound to happen, but I definitely do have some advice on how you can avoid that, or at least, you know, massage the situation a little bit so it's not so bad. My first bit of advice would be to talk ahead of time. Before you guys ever step foot into the field, you need to talk about 2 things. 1, what your goal of the hunt is. Do you want to kill the biggest, most mature buck, for example, you can find? Or do you want to shoot anything that is legal that walks past you? If it's something in between, figure that out ahead of time, because that will cause conflict out in the field. Also, you need to talk about what you are and aren't comfortable with. So the range that you are comfortable shooting your bow or your gun, whatever it may be, you need to talk about that. If you are comfortable in certain shooting positions, like just things so that you're both on the same page and can understand comfort level. Also, if you both have tags, you need to figure out who is taking the shot first. Are you guys going to split up? Are you going to stay together the whole time? Figure that stuff out. From my personal experience, Nick and I will split up when we're out, and I like that. I like to be on my own. I also like to hunt with him, But I think it works really well whenever we can sort of divide and conquer when we both have a tag. If only I have a tag or only he has a tag, we're definitely gonna stay together. Or maybe I'll glass this side of the mountain, he'll glass that side, you know, something like that. After you've had these pre-field conversations, there's one other thing that I think can really help mitigate these arguments, and that's to be prepared. If you forget your rangefinder, if you forget your ammo, your binos, your hunting tags, which I have forgotten all of the above, that stuff causes conflict because it affects your hunt. You know, if you get out there and don't have your tags, well, you have to turn around and go home because you can't hunt, you know what I mean? So if you check your list 3, 4, 5 times, which I fail to do a lot of the time, that will help mitigate, hopefully, some of those issues. Really good question. I like that one. Do you have any vlogs of you taking game? I do. I only have one that's actually out on the internet, and that is my archery grouse video that happened last elk season. I think I killed maybe 2 or 3 or 4 grouse in that video, which was awesome. I love eating grouse. I love hunting elk, and then by association, hunting grouse. It is the best. But I do not have any videos of me killing a big game animal. But we have a lot of tags this year. Nick is going to be filming me a lot. So this tis the season. How old are you? I'm 24, but not for much longer. My birthday is on August 24th, and then I will be 25. Can we see a close-up of your arrow tat on your right arm, and what inspired you to get that tat? Awesome. Yeah, look at it. But that tattoo I got back in 2015, and it was right after I bought my own compound bow. I had hunted the season prior with a crossbow. That was my first season as a hunter, that 2014 season. And I was just falling in love with the outdoors, and I loved archery. And I was at a point like in my career where I no longer wanted to do what I went to school for. I have a degree in emergency medicine. I was a certified paramedic. I'm no longer a certified paramedic because I don't want to work in paramedicine anymore. But I was taking a whole new direction, and so it's kind of cliche, but it really was that like follow your arrow kind of vibe. It was just go with, like, do what feels right and follow, you know, follow what you feel like you're supposed to be doing. So that's why I got that tattoo. And I want to get another tattoo right here on my forearm very soon. And you guys will see that one. Do you go to the Great American Outdoor Show? I've been there before, but no, I don't go to that every year. How good are you with a recurve bow, no sights, and could you video it? I am not huntable with a recurve. I have a crappy, cheap, 28-pound draw recurve that I mess around with for fun, and I love shooting that thing. It's awesome, but I am nowhere near huntable with it. I have filmed me shooting that, and I'll include a link down below of that video, and also the grouse video down below, so you guys can watch that after this. I've been shooting crossbow now for a while and would like to switch to a compound. What would be a good, affordable setup for a beginner? Awesome question. I started on a crossbow too. That was the first archery season that I spent out in the woods, was with a crossbow in Pennsylvania. So it is legal for everyone. I know regulations differ state to state, but to answer your question, head to your local archery shop and talk to a guy or gal there. They will be able to show you the bows that they offer, and you'll be able to actually shoot them, so you can feel how they feel in your hand. You'll see what it's like to shoot. I would not recommend just going out and buying one without ever, using it. Go check some out and find what works best for you. Why don't you shoot 3D archery competitions? I don't have time. I wish I had time for more things, but I just don't. I could see myself shooting target archery one day, but there are just too many other things going on. What podcast do you listen to? The Joe Rogan podcast, the Meat Eater podcast, those are both fantastic. Highly recommend. Other than that, if you guys have any recommendations, leave it below. We tried to listen to some other ones. They weren't very good. So those are the only two. What has been your most memorable hunt/stalk you've been on? Oh, I like that. Because anybody who has ever done a spot and stalk hunt knows that stalks in particular are very memorable. And I do have a lot of good ones, but my most memorable would be from last elk season. Nick and I had been hunting these 2 spike elk, and I would refer to them as Dumb and Dumber. They were just these 2, I don't know, like silly young spike bulls, and we had spotted them across the valley. So we were making our way over there, and we get to this little patch of timber, and we look down, and there is bear scat, fresh bear scat, and kind of look at each other like, bear's been here. We look up, and you can see this big bear ass running away from us, and we watch him zigzag across the hill. He was pissed. Like, I don't think he really understood what was happening. He couldn't smell us because the wind, we were stalking these elk, so the wind was at our face, and he hoofed it around and started snapping his jaw at us and kind of put his head down and was running our direction, but there was some topography in the land, so we got to this draw and then either went up or down. He never actually made it to us, thank God, because I would have pooped my pants. But after that, we went right over to the patch of timber that the elk were in, and they were still in there, and I stalked them within 50 yards, and I didn't take a shot. It wasn't quite right, blah blah blah, but it was still so cool. That was my most memorable stalk. Have you ever thought about coming to New Zealand for a hunt? Yes, absolutely. I would love to hunt in New Zealand. I actually have a coworker who hunted in New Zealand a year or 2 ago. He hunted for chamois, and he brought back all of the meat and was able to share it with everyone. I had some, and it was awesome. So I would have to be able to bring the meat back, and if that was the case, hell yeah, sign me up, because that sounds awesome. Advice for someone's first bow season. I'm trying to think of something that I wish that I knew. My best advice for your first bow season is to spend some time before your tag opens up stalking animals. And I know that sounds a little weird, but just listen. The first time that I went out bow hunting and got within 30 yards of an elk, I had no clue what to do. I didn't know how much movement I could get away with. I didn't know how much sound I could get away with. I didn't know when to move, when to not move, and that's something that you can only learn when you are there doing it. And you don't want to be like me and wait until you actually get out there to learn it, which, I mean, I'm thankful. I love all the experiences that I've had hunting, but get out there before your tag opens up and just learn how to stalk an animal and then what you do once you get close to it. And if you are a whitetail hunter, you hunt out of a tree stand, my recommendation would be the same. Like, get close to animals to see what you can get away with, and practice shooting your bow out of the tree stand, because it's a lot different. What type of pack do you have? I have 2 packs that I run. I have a Kifaru 22 mag, and I freaking love that thing. I also have a Seek Outside. I believe it's either called the Fortress or the Frontier. Honestly, I'm not quite sure. And the reason why I like having both is because the Kifaru bag is amazing and wonderful, but it's not waterproof and it's really heavy. The Seek bag is not quite as comfortable as my Kifaru, but it's completely waterproof and it is so light. Those are the packs that I run though. How long have you been shooting bows? I've been shooting bows since 2014, and then in 2015 I bought my own compound bow. Tips for starting a YouTube channel and making outdoor videos. Do it, first of all, but real tips would be buy buy a camera that is better than your iPhone to start. Doesn't matter, whatever that means to you. Just get a camera and start recording. Watch other YouTubers and see kind of what they're doing. Don't copy anyone's style, but just get an idea of what kind of shots you might want to take or what kind of content you might want to create, and focus on the story of the hunt. That is what is so important to me, is sharing the whole experience, because it's not just about the kill. It's not about these little micro moments that I think we see a lot in television and on YouTube sometimes, but just make it about the story of the hunt and be a sell, whatever that is. Why are your sunglasses upside down? This is so funny to me because Nick is the one who turned my sunglasses upside down in the first place. I used to wear my sunglasses on my hat normal, and then Nick was like, no, 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 and flipped them upside down, and I was like, why are you doing this? But then once you put them on, they stay better on your head. There's more pressure when they're upside down, and so they don't fall off your hat. So that's why they're upside down. You guys should try it, even though I think it looks ridiculous, but I do it now. That's how I run my sunglasses. Water filtration method. Ooh. So I just bought a Steri pen and I've not used it yet, so I can't tell you whether I like it or not, but I've heard great things. So that's what I'm running with this year. In the past, I've used iodine. I also carried on a life straw, although it's not that great. I've used other filtration systems that friends have had when I'm on hunts, but Steri pen I have high hopes for. Mountain House versus Heather's Choice versus your own, if you do. I wish I could say my own, but I haven't really put the time into creating my own backcountry meals. I've not eaten Heather's Choice, so I can't really speak to that. I've eaten plenty of Mountain House, and I like them. I wouldn't eat more than one per day because they are so concentrated in sodium, and you know, I think you need to stick to one a day. First aid gear selection and why. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Sorry, Mom. But I don't know why I haven't put the time into creating a really good first aid kit. All I have is pretty much Band-Aids, Advil, melatonin, and like that's it. But if I would create a first aid kit, I'd throw a tourniquet in there, I'd throw gauze and like an ace bandage, probably a heavier painkiller too. I carry alcohol always, so I don't know if you count that in my first aid kit. What sidearm do you carry in bear country and why? The spot that I hunt in is not Grizz country, so there's that. I normally do carry some kind of sidearm, especially if I am solo, and that is Nick's pistol. It's a, what is it? A Ruger something or other. Honestly, I don't even know. I'm really not that into guns unless there are guns for hunting specifically. So I'll take that with me sometimes. I know how to use it. I'm comfortable with it, but I've been flirting with the idea of just carrying bear spray with me when I'm archery hunting because there are wolves and mountain lions and black bear, and I could still get myself into some trouble in that sense. So yeah, I mean, unless you're talking about carrying a sidearm for human interaction, but can I ask how you like your Alaskan Guide binocular case? I love it. It is awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it is just a little bit big. Like if you are an ultra light backcountry hunter, you'd probably be like, this thing's a little bit heavy. The FHF bino harness that I was running previously was a little bit smaller, but I like the build of the Alaska Guide Creation one. It is good, so highly recommend. What is your best hunting memory and why? Oh, that is so hard. I think my best hunting memory is from spring bear of 2016. My friend Marta, myself, and Nick had gone for an overnight backcountry bear hunt, and there were wildflowers everywhere. There were morels popping up out of the ground, well, not everywhere, but in spots. We were passing them the whole way up the mountain. It was absolutely beautiful, breathtaking country. We slept out under the stars. We had great weather. We drank whiskey. It was just such a good memory and a good trip. So I don't know if it's necessarily that trip in particular, but it's those moments that just fill me up. I love, that's my, like my best hunting memories as a whole are those kind of memories. What are some of the mistakes you made during your lifetime of archery? Oh, that is a good question, and I know immediately what my answer is, and I've not talked about this on my channel. But I have taken shots at game animals and I have missed because they're shots that I should not have taken. And that's something that I think maybe not everybody goes through as a bow hunter, but it is something that I went through learning what my range is. You know, it's, for me, it's been this thing where when I'm practicing, I know what I'm comfortable with, but then when I'm in the field, there's so much emotion and there's so much that goes into it, and you may have worked so hard to get this close to an animal, and even if it's a little farther out of your range, like for me, you know, it's happened where I'm like, but I can do it. And thankfully I have clean missed, but it's happened. And I haven't really talked about it, but I think it is important to talk about because I'm sure a lot of other people have gone through the same thing. But I'm thankful for those experiences because I'm definitely wiser and smarter and understand more about my skill as an archer, as a bow hunter, and my ability to manage my emotions in those situations. So that was a cool one to end on. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I loved your questions. I like doing Q&As like this because it feels like I can connect with you guys, and it gives me a better idea of what you guys like to see on my channel. So I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe, share this video, and I'll see you in the next video.